You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Chip Gilchrist, voice of the Kingston Frontenacs. You're listening to OHL Overtime, an in-depth interview show highlighting the players, coaches, and broadcasters from around the Ontario Hockey League who make the league so great, as well as in-person coverage of events such as the OHL Playoffs, OHL Championship Series, OHL Combine, and more, exclusively on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here's your program host, Brandon Caputo.
Back on another episode of OHL Overtime, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road in Niagara since 2012, in honor of the late William Robert Hunter. Brandon Caputo here with you to break down the Sudbury Wolves and Mississauga Steelheads Game 1 from last night at the Paramount Fine Food Center. Sudbury Wolves take it by a score of 3-0. As the road team, so the only road team last night to win was the Sudbury Wolves in the 4-5 matchup, so going to get into it as well. We're going to have post-game with the head coach of the Sudbury Wolves, Ken MacKenzie, on today's show as well. So we'll get into it with the game stats, as always, brought to you by J&L Flooring. If you think you get a better deal anywhere else, you don't know Jack. Contact our Niagara Falls location, begin your quality flooring project today. And you look at the teams on paper here, and you look at the Sudbury Wolves team and you say, you know, they've got some very high-powered players. David Goyette led the Ontario Hockey League in points this year. And then you, with a very strong season, the Seattle Kraken draft pick, he had 117 points in 68 games. And you also had Quentin Musty, the San Jose Sharks first-rounder, who only had 102 points. I'm going to use only very lightly. And 43 goals. And we all know about Dalibor Dvorsky, the St. Louis Blues first-rounder, coming over as an import player, 88 points in 52 games. He made an impact on tonight's game, but I guess the one criticism that I'll ask Ken MacKenzie about in the postgame was that Sudbury was known as a high-scoring team, but when it came down to it, their defending was something that was an issue. So I think tonight, or last night, they really put that to bed of what type of team what type of style they can play, and what you need to do in the playoffs, not winning games 8-6. And it seems like they've all bought into what they need to do here, and they were able to do that last night against this Mississauga Steelheads team. And going over the game stats, I mean, Sudbury outshot Mississauga 15-9 in the first period, and Mississauga really didn't even get going until the last 5 or so minutes of that period, and it was really all Sudbury. It was almost like Mississauga came out and it had maybe a little bit of playoff nerves for the younger roster there, but the Wolves were just relentless throughout the first half of that first period and were able to get a goal, and then they extended their lead later in the opening period, which we'll get to in the goal summary. But just a very dominant first period for the Sudbury Wolves, and kind of caught Mississauga off guard there. And James Richmond's club really had to try to figure something out there as the game went on. But Mississauga ends up winning the shot battle 32-31, but it was a lot of perimeter stuff. It was a lot of outside shots. There wasn't really any high-danger scoring chances cutting to the middle of the ice. The Mississauga really had to dump it in. They were doing a lot of dump and chase because Sudbury was just playing so well at the neutral zone and really limiting the zone entries for Mississauga, where they were making it very tough to even try to gain any offensive zone time and set up anything, even on the power plays. And Sudbury 1 for 4 on the power play. They did capitalize on one. Mississauga was 0 for 5 on the power play. And I believe at one point, shout out to Zach Bodenstein of the Mississauga Steelheads radio broadcast at one point said it took them 1:53 to set up on a power play. And there's only 2 minutes in the power play. And, Sudbury was just doing a great job of just not really giving Mississauga anything. And it all started with that power play. I mean, they 0 for 5, and Mississauga had their opportunities, but just really weren't able to capitalize, really weren't able to get any high-danger scoring chances, really weren't able to set up because Sudbury was just relentless behind the net. They obviously did a great pre-scout on James Richmond's club, and we'll see if they're able to adjust going into Game 2, but a very impressive performance defensively by this high-powered Sudbury Wolves offense, and it was just one of those games where they played a boring style of hockey, but they really shut down the opposition, and as the road team, that's what you really have to do in a game like that. Game 1 of the series, setting the tone. And Sudbury did a great job of that. Even though they were outshot, that was not the story of this game. Mississauga had 14 shots to 10 in the final period, which kind of swayed things. But Sudbury just really limited any sort of opportunities in the middle of the ice, and it was one of the better defensive performances I've seen this year from any team, let alone the Sudbury team. So we'll see if Ken MacKenzie's team can carry that momentum as the series goes on, or if the Steelheads and James Richmond are going to make some adjustments on how they're going to need to play when they're trying to enter the zone against the Sudbury team, because it was a lot of dump and chase in this game for the Mississauga Steelheads. They won the faceoff battle 30-25 as well, which was an area that Sudbury had really taken it to them throughout the regular season. So when you look at the game stats of this game, you say, 3-0, but it was a very solid performance all around by the Sudbury Wolves, and unfortunate for the Steelheads because they come in as the 4 seed, and they're a very well-structured team in their own right as well, and Sudbury being a high-powered offense, they only got 2 goals on them. So, I mean, if you hold Sudbury to 2 goals, you'd think you'd like your chances, but they showed out last night and really proved why you have to play a different style when it comes to playoff hockey, and they showed it with that performance in Game 1. We'll move on to our scoring summary tonight, brought to you by the Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work in Niagara since 1983. Check out their up-to-date job board at ehc.on.ca to find your next work opportunity today. Not many goals to go over, but Landon McCallum, early on, 1:56 into the game, cuts into the zone on the right side and just takes a shot, and it just catches Leenders on a bad angle there, and it's able to beat him. I don't even know if that went high on him or where it went, but it was almost like Leenders really wasn't squared up to the puck when he was in his crease, and McCallum was able to find a seam there.
Backhands the puck to the neutral zone, taken there by Mania. He's in over the line, has McCallum with him. There's a shot, scores! Not even 2 minutes in, and the Sudbury Wolves get one through Ryerson Leenders, and it's 1-0.
Landon McCallum crushes the Steelheads every single season. He had 8 points in 6 games against them this year, but this is one you just can't let in. Leenders maybe shaking off some nerves here. Von Richter late to pick up his man on the far side, and then has to work his way across there. Couldn't cut McCallum off, and he just sneaks it through Leenders to make it 1-0. Not a good start here for Mississauga to begin this series.
We know Landon McCallum, he scored 21 goals in the regular season, but that's got to be one of his bigger goals scored, and we know he's a very good agitating player, likes to get under the skin of the other players after the whistles and such, and is always trying to make his presence felt, even when he's not putting the puck in the net. But 1:56 in, that's got to be a great icebreaker for the series for Landon McCallum to get the Sudbury Wolves on top. And then later in the first period, they would extend their lead on one of those that one power play goal that they did get out of their 4 opportunities. And it was Dalibor Dvorsky taking the pass from Quentin Musty and just one-timing it on the right circle. And it was a little bit odd because nobody had really known the puck went in originally. David Goyette was standing in front of the net as trying to screen Ryerson Leenders. And the puck, I think, went in, but nobody really knew that it went in except the referee behind the net. He was the one definitively pointing that the puck went in. So Sudbury gets the goal there from Dalibor Dvorsky, one-timer, and one of the top 2 or 3 one-timers in all the Ontario Hockey League for the St. Louis Blues first rounder, and you can see right there why he has been such an X factor for this Sudbury Wolves club this year.
Season. He's in over the line, drops the puck off, and on a 4-on-3 power play, there's lots of space. Comes back over, and there's Dvorsky. There's a shot that goes in front of the goal, and they score! Through a screen, and the Wolves cash in on a power play opportunity. Dvorsky, the shot, might have hit something in front. Either way, Sudbury 2, Mississauga nothing.
Audio goal highlights are courtesy of NewsTalk Sauga960, the radio voice of the Mississauga Steelheads. Catch all the playoff action on sauga960am.ca. Get them out to a 2-0 lead, and that was basically it. They shut it down. No scoring in the second, and no scoring in the third period until James Richmond's club was forced to pull their goaltender, needing 2 goals with, I believe they pulled it with about 2:20 or 2:30 left in regulation, and Dalibor Dvorsky was able to seal it in the empty net for his second of the night, and capping off the 32-save shutout for Jakub Vondras, and not taking anything away from him, but the team in front of him, his team defense, really did a good job of holding that Mississauga Steelheads offense to really no grade A scoring opportunities in the middle of the ice, but he still made all the key saves that he needed to at the end, and comes away with the 3-0 shutout. And there was 13 minor penalties in the first period of this game, and it really set the tone for what a Central Division playoff matchup is going to look like. These two teams played each other very hard throughout the regular season. Throughout the 6 games that they did play, it was almost even throughout with the records, and some high-scoring games as well. But this one was a typical playoff game, and I think it just sets the tone for the rest of the series of how physical this is going to be, how emotional this series is going to be, especially when they go back up to Sudbury for games 3 and 4, and the Sudbury Community Arena is going to be rocking up there. But game 1, 3-0 win for the Wolves, and they showed why that the people around the league should take them seriously with regards to what they can do defensively, not just with their great offensive players. And we know that they're a very physical, chippy team, and they like to get into it with the opposition. They like to be around the net after whistles. They like to get into a lot of scrums, and they do get into taking some penalties and do get into penalty trouble. But luckily, they're skilled enough that they can kind of overcome that with the guys that they have up front, and some of the defensemen that they have back there. Donovan McCoy is a great addition to their club, getting him from the Peterborough Petes, who won an OHL championship last year. So good overall performance there. And if you're Mississauga, you just really need to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to really break down the Sudbury Wolves team? Because going into it, maybe they thought this was going to be a high-scoring game, and now they've got to really change their game plan here and see how they can really get around the way the Sudbury Wolves are playing them with this pre-scout. And luckily, it's a 7-game series, so you have time to kind of figure some stuff out. First game's kind of a feeling out process, even though these two teams did play each other a lot during the regular season. The playoffs is different, and we'll see if they can come out in game 2. And eventually, as the series progresses, I'm really interested to see how the Steelheads are able to adjust their strategy, or if Sudbury is going to continue to really take it to them as it goes on. But for the road team to take that first game, it's a big step in the right direction for the Sudbury Wolves as the 5 seed, and always fun when you get to the 4-5 matchup. You never really know how those ones can play out. So we're going to take a quick break on the show today, and we're going to come back and we're going to get our post game with the Sudbury Wolves head coach Ken MacKenzie. I'm going to give you my player of the game as well, and we'll kind of look ahead to game 2 on Saturday tomorrow. So stay right here. We'll be right back on OHL Overtime, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012.
Wild Bill's Auto Repair is your local center for auto maintenance and repair in the Niagara region. Since 2012, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop has been helping customers stay safe and confident on the road, knowing their vehicles in top running condition through their services. Located at 7868 Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls, the garage started as a tribute to the owner's father, William Robert Hunter, who passed away, continuing the same community spirit and high level of service which customers came to expect from him back at Hunter's Auto Repair. Their multi-award-winning auto shop has earned the trust of the Niagara community with its fair treatment of all customers, who can feel confident they'll get the trustworthy advice and repairs during their visit. Their experienced crew loves meeting new people and looks forward to forming a lasting partnership for the care of your cars. To find out more or to book service, contact them today. 905-358-7868 or wildbillsauto.ca. Wild Bill's Auto Repair. helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012. Since 1999, Niagara Dental Clinic has been helping thousands of patients achieve natural-looking smiles with the confidence to show them off. Sean Patel and his wife Anne, both licensed denturists, bring a wealth of skill and experience to the warm and friendly atmosphere to their Niagara Falls location at 5501 Drummond Road. And their on-site Niagara Hearing Clinic offers free hearing tests and a variety of services to fit your needs. This family-run practice takes pride in providing superior care and service to their patients, along with the best premium products available on the market. Get the best work done at a more reasonable price. Niagara Dental Clinic is here to help. Protect your teeth with a mouth guard, replace missing teeth, and get better hold with your dental implants. Call them today for a free consultation at 905-353-1552 or check them out online at niagaradentalclinic.com. Niagara Dental Clinic, creating natural smiles in the Niagara region for 25 years. In the Niagara region, Global Pet Foods is your destination for premium pet nutrition and caring expertise. Whether you've welcomed a new furry family member or need advice on top quality nutrition, their dedicated staff is ready to help. Discover why Global Pet Foods' lesser-known premium brands outshine the big corporate names. Their team's passion ensures your pet's health and vitality. Check out one of their locations today, 3643 Portage Road in Niagara Falls, 160 Highway 20 in Font Hill, or 400 Scott Street and 344 Glendale Avenue in St. Catharines. Global Pet Foods, where premium brands and caring staff make the difference.
Niagara Golf Lounge features 2 state-of-the-art indoor golf simulators, allowing you to play some of the world's best courses all year round. The perfect place to indulge all season long. Don't worry about getting thirsty while you play around with your friends. Their fully stocked bar offers a wide selection of drinks, appetizers, and a variety of meals are also available to enjoy before, during, or after you play. Grab a seat next to the fire in their comfortable sports lounge. Didn't bring your clubs? No problem. They have partnered with TaylorMade to offer you the best rental clubs. You won't want to miss their exclusive NFL and NHL giveaways for the Buffalo Sabres and Buffalo Bills. Located in the Best Western Plus Cairncroft Hotel, 6400 Lundy's Lane in Niagara Falls. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more and to reserve your golf bay today. The Niagara Golf Lounge, Niagara's home for golf and sport all year round.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to part 2 of today's OHL Overtime episode, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair. Brandon Caputo here with you, continuing to break down Game 1 between the Sudbury Wolves and the Mississauga Steelheads in the first round of their OHL Playoff series in a Central Division showdown. These two teams have faced each other a lot, and we'll see as this series goes on if it's going to turn into a 6 or 7 gamer. It was basically even in the regular season between these two clubs, so with that said, thank you to those today listening on your favorite on-demand audio platform. Please give us some love of whatever one you choose to listen to us. As well, we're available on X by searching Armchair GM Pod. As well, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all of our podcasts are posted on YouTube as well, even on YouTube podcasts for our audio shows. So thank you to everybody tuning in today. Maybe got some new audiences listening today from some other fan bases, but we appreciate you tuning in to our OHL coverage and our game recaps here for the series that we are spotlighting here in the first round between Sudbury and Mississauga. So with that said, we're going to take you to our post-game with the head coach of the Sudbury Wolves, and that would be Ken MacKenzie, brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family. Visit any 4 of their great Niagara region locations. Here is the Sudbury Wolves head coach on his team's strong defensive performance last night to come out with a 3-0 win in Game 1 over the Mississauga Steelheads.
Well, Coach, I mean, everybody talks about your high-powered offense, but you guys really shut it down tonight, showed what a defensive structure really looks like, and maybe put some of the critics to bed that say your team can't defend. Just talk about that great overall performance and a 3-0 win.
Well, I mean, it all starts off with our goaltender, right? I mean, he put a solid game for us tonight. He gave us a chance early on, but as far as us defending, we can defend with the best of them when we're playing, and we're on our game. I liked our game a lot tonight. I thought we could have been up by a few more in the first period. Our offense was, I thought was clicking, and but once we got the 2-goal lead, we were able to shut these guys down. That's what playoff. If you're going to win the playoffs, we have to be able to play that way. So it was a good game for us defensively.
Just how big was that first goal from McCallum? Just getting the away goal as in game one. Just how big was that to kind of settle down any momentum that Mississauga had, and you really shut them down in that first period to set the tone for what was to come.
It was a huge goal for us again. I mean, we haven't been won a playoff game for a while. That's our first one, and we needed that momentum. We needed that confidence. We know that's a good hockey team out there. They play with a lot of speed and structure, so we didn't want to chase the game early on, and we wanted to be able to get that first one. And when you get that one, you could just feel the bench, feeling pretty good about themselves.
13 minor penalties between the two teams in the first period. I know you got a feisty group there and a lot of scrums after the whistle. It's a Central Division game as well in a playoff series that obviously adds a little bit more to it. And these two teams have really played each other hard through the regular season. So what do you think was the carryover to that and just setting the tone for what's to come the rest of the series?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, we played these guys. Every game was a close game this year. The series was close. A lot on the line. I mean, right now for these two teams, and it's playoff hockey. They come out and everybody wants to kind of set the tone for everybody else, but we know we have to be a lot more disciplined than we were tonight. Our power play, we're always, we want to get on the power play, not be killing penalties more than we did, but it was good. I mean, I thought, the guys put it together in the third period. We stayed out of the box and played. We're 5-on-5. We're a pretty hard team to beat.
And Vondras, I mean, the team did a good job defensively in the structure in front of him. He didn't make a lot of high-danger chances, but he made all of the key saves that he needed to. Just speak to your goaltender coming up with a performance like that in Game 1 of a playoff series.
Well, I mean, it was for everybody. We needed that, Our goaltending's been good all year, but hasn't been great. He was great tonight. Made the saves when he had to make them, and the confidence you could feel on the bench when he's making the saves, and he looks solid all around tonight, and we're hoping he can carry that into Game 2.
And lastly, Dvorsky, everybody knows the kind of talent that he is, and that setting him up on the one-timer on the power play. Just how has it been to coach a player like that this year, and what he's brought to this group, and just a dynamic play for him to get on the board there and get you guys up front by 2.
He's been good all year long. I mean, he's just such a good two-way player. He does it all for us. Thought he could add 2 or 3 in the first period. I mean, we put these guys, so I say, if we can play on the power play, he's got some high-end guys playing with him. I mean, got the leading goal scorer in the league and point guy in the league in Goyette, and you got Quinton Musty up there, 100-point guys. So those guys together, they're pretty dynamic. They make really good hockey plays, and for him to put that one away for us today, it was big. It was huge.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
There was Sudbury Wolves head coach Ken MacKenzie on the postgame following his team's 3-0 performance in Game 1 over the Mississauga Steelheads. And he talked about Dalibor Dvorsky, the St. Louis Blues first-rounder, being such a good two-way player for them and a dynamic guy on the power play because of that great one-timer that he does have. When you looked at the regular season and the power play for the Sudbury Wolves club, they were 4th in the Ontario Hockey League on the power play. So that's got to be an area of emphasis for James Richmond's club as they move forward here, is trying to limit their opportunities on the power play, because they did have 4 and they were able to capitalize on 1, and that was really the difference in the game because it was only a 2-0 game plus the empty netter. So if you're James Richmond's club, you got to stay out of the box, but it's hard because Sudbury is so relentless and they try to bait their teams into taking penalties, and they're a feisty team, and they can be frustrating to play against. So I think if you're the Steelhead side, you have to look at that and say Sudbury wants to play that type of style because they love to get on the power play, and they're a very dangerous team on the power play with the 5-man unit that they can put out there. It's not like Dalibor Dvorsky's the only guy. They're so talented up front that even their second power play unit can hold a candle to most teams' first units around the Ontario Hockey League. So I think if you're the Steelheads, staying out of the box is going to be big for this team, even though their penalty kill was good in the regular season. They were sixth place as far as penalty kill on the season. But again, Sudbury keeping them off the power play, and Ken MacKenzie also talked about his goaltender really playing solid for them all year, even though it was a little bit of a split between Vondras and Marcus Vandenberg throughout the year. It looks like it's going to be Vondras that's going to be relied upon here. He's a Carolina Hurricanes prospect, and he's the guy that's going to get the first shot at least to prove himself, and it's showing right now that he come out with a game 1 shutout, so a good start there. But if things do start to turn in Mississauga's favor, maybe we do see Marcus Vandenberg later in the series, but that remains to be seen, in a very solid Game 1 performance for Jakob Vondras in the net, and really giving his team a lot of confidence in front of him. And even when it was a low-scoring game, they were able to handle it. I think Vondras at the beginning of the game, maybe a little bit like Leenders, was having a little bit of trouble finding the puck, the rebound control maybe a little bit there, and just letting a couple of pucks bounce off of them that maybe is a little bit uncharacteristic, but Vondras was able to settle in nice, and even Ryerson Leenders was able to settle in nicely as well. I mean, he only surrendered 2 goals, and they were both in that first period, so no goals really for the against either goaltenders in the final 2 periods of play. So we'll just have to see how that goaltending matchup progresses through the rest of the series. But so before we get out of here today, I'm going to put myself on the spot with the player of the game, brought to you by the Niagara Golf Lounge. Niagara's home for golf and sport year-round, located in the best Western Carencroft Hotel. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more, to host an event, or to book your golf bay today. I mean, there's a lot of options here for the Sudbury Wolves. They played such a solid game, but I'm going to have to give it to Landon McCallum for that goal, and just the way that he was able to really, I guess, impact the game in other ways. He won 5 of 10 faceoffs. That one shot he had, he really set the tone for the series, getting the series opening goal, the game-winning goal, and was really just an agitator throughout the entirety of the game, baiting Mississauga into taking penalties, some scrums around the net, getting them frustrated after whistles, and we even saw Ryerson Leenders not take too kindly to what number 11 for the Sudbury Wolves was doing there within the crease, and just one of those guys that is an X factor to a team, and you hate to play against him, but you love to have him on your team when he's doing that in the right way and not taking a lot of penalties himself. He only got 1 minor tonight, but really made a difference in the rest of the game. And from the Delhi, Ontario, Landon McCallum is going to be our player of the game for Game 1, but obviously you could have given it to Dalibor Dvorsky for the power play goal and the empty net goal, as well as Jakob Vondras, who was given first star in the building last night with 32 saves on 32 attempts. So solid all around for the Sudbury Wolves. We'll see if they can continue it on here into Game 2 on Saturday. It's going to be a 4 o'clock start, that game in Mississauga for Game 2, so it's going to be somewhat of an afternoon game, and we'll see if the Steelheads can win back sort of that home ice advantage, because they're going to have to steal one now, up in Sudbury on Monday or Wednesday. But look ahead first to Saturday, Game 2, 4 p.m. You'd hope there'd be a better crowd there in Mississauga to cheer on this group, as it's their final playoff run in Mississauga before the team moves to Brantford. Just over 1,500 fans were in attendance, and I'd probably say 300 to 400 were from the Sudbury Wolves. So there's got to be a Sudbury Wolves bus trip or something, or family, because they really showed out last night with a lot of Sudbury Wolves jerseys in the crowd. And when they did score their goals, you heard a pretty loud ovation from the small crowd that was in the building. So hopefully on a Saturday, Mississauga will have a better crowd there for Game 2 of a playoff series, because we all know playoff hockey is so fun to watch, and when you have a rocking building and a crowd that's so into it, it can even add for that much more energy in the building. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's going to wrap up our Game 1 recap for the Sudbury Wolves and the Mississauga Steelheads here on OHL Overtime. Make sure to give us a follow at Armchair GM Pod, and thank you to those today listening on your favorite on-demand audio platform. We will talk to you again after Game 2 on Saturday. I might have a guest co-host for that episode from the rink. We'll have to wait and see how it progresses. But my name is Brandon Caputo, and this has been another episode of OHL Overtime, brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, and we'll talk to you again very soon. You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.